Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday, and we actually just dropped a thought piece this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're now available on 12 different podcast platforms. We're very excited to announce that we've just integrated into Audible, Amazon Music platform, as well as the Stitcher platform. So definitely take a look at the links in the description down below if that is your listening preference. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like our conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Allô les meufs et les mecs. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today, our topic of discussion is on mental health. And on the topic of mental health, we're doing a part 2 series on different ways that we often don't consider that also translate as us being kind to ourselves. So a lot of us are very comfortable extending kindness and compassion, consideration, grace to others, but we struggle to do that with ourselves. And I'm going to give all of us a benefit of the doubt. I think why we struggle to do this with ourselves is because we don't recognize that there are certain actions and reactions, or certain ways of being and ways of engaging that actually involve being kind with ourselves, as well as being kind to others. Kindness doesn't always need to translate in words. It can be something that is integrated in our value system, integrated in our belief system. The way that we orient ourselves and navigate different settings can be demonstrations and acts of kindness in and of themselves. So I think this is a series that is ongoing because there are so many under-recognized ways that we can be kind to ourselves, and I want to go for in these series the ones that surprise us, so the unexpected ways that we can demonstrate kindness to ourselves as well as to others. But this is really focused on supporting, strengthening, and building our own mental health. So without further preamble, I'm going to jump right into it. And the first one is care and consideration. I think being kind to ourselves does not require an excuse. It doesn't require a reason. Sometimes we feel like the only time we feel comfortable sort of turning that lens inwards and focusing on ourselves, prioritizing our needs, or when it's a special occasion. So on our birthday, we might feel inclined to prioritize our needs. On a different day that involves celebration and just treating oneself. And I'm here to say, I think that needs to be routine. I don't think that there are enough holidays in a year or special events in a calendar that would build into how beneficial kindness is for you. Kindness can be in small daily rituals that you have with yourself, where you're looking inwards, where you're practicing different rituals of self-care, where you're taking a moment to pause, taking a moment to breathe, giving yourself space to be. All of these little things over time really help support our mental health because they are acts of kindness. If it is the case that you're feeling down, doing something to cheer yourself up. If it is the case that you're having a craving, satisfying that craving, even if it means you're going out of your way to do it because it's an act of kindness to yourself, because it's not something you do often or frequently. Giving yourself a spa day, going to see a museum, just having different things in place that are small acts that show care and consideration for yourself, for your wants, for your needs, for different areas that we often are comfortable neglecting unless it's a special occasion. I think when it comes to taking care of yourself, to supporting your mental health, we need to make demonstrations, even the small acts of kindness, so important. We need to put a spotlight on them because they're so beneficial to our mental health when we start to build the lens and the framework of self-worth. And often how we build our sense of self-worth is in the ways that we speak to ourselves, in the ways that we engage with ourselves. When we recognize that we don't need a reason, we don't need a special occasion to be kind to ourselves, to show ourselves care, to show ourselves consideration, it feeds into our sense of self-worth, our sense of self-respect, and our sense of self-regard as well. Which brings me to my second point, and I think that this would be an unexpected way of demonstrating kindness to oneself. And sometimes it involves difficult conversations, and that's setting boundaries. And oftentimes we think about setting boundaries as keeping people out, but it's preserving who we are, our inmost parts as well. Setting boundaries involves recognizing your worth, recognizing that you are worthy of respect, you are worthy of regard, of being treated in a specific way, and you hold yourself accountable to all of the ways that you know you ought to be treated and you ought to be received in the spaces that you're in. And I think that boundary setting often can be very anxiety inducing because we're so focused on the outward judgment, the outward experience of, hey, if I establish my boundary, maybe they won't validate that I actually have this worth, that I actually am deserving of this respect, of this regard. But I think when we start to set boundaries and recognize boundaries for what they are, which is us communicating our sense of value, our sense of worth to the world around us, which is the direction that should go. It is for us to inform others of our worth, of our value, of what we bring to a conversation. It is for us to express outwardly what we know and what we feel about ourselves internally. You put the external world on a pedestal that they are undeserving of if you allow their criticism, their judgments, and their treatments to inform your sense of self. So a demonstration, an act of kindness is actually showing up for yourself, setting those boundaries, enforcing those boundaries because you're reinforcing and validating the inner conversation that you have with yourself that builds into your sense of self-esteem and self-worth, and not allowing the external to have the role that it's maybe had up until now in informing your sense of value and your sense of worth. I am someone who believes that you give the world way too much power when you allow them to tell you who you are. The only person who really can advocate, can communicate who you are is you yourself. No one knows you better than you. And anyone who thinks they do, from whatever it is that they observe, from whatever it is that they see, they are tooting their own horn, I'll tell you that. I mean, they can be close, they can have a couple of great insights into who you are, but the only person who should feel qualified to communicate your value, your worth, the fact that you're deserving of respect, you're deserving of regard is you. And recognize that boundary setting is a way that you advocate for those things, and it is the kindest thing you can do for yourself, even if it involves tough conversations or shifting and changing the environments you're in, or shifting and changing the social connections you're in. You're doing it in support of yourself. And I think validating yourself, defending yourself, being comfortable and ready to change the scene, change the environments you're in as a way of putting action behind your words is a deep, deep gesture of kindness to oneself. Which brings me to my last point of today, and that's celebration. And I am someone who believes in celebrating ourselves, and I'm very goal-oriented. So the way that I celebrate myself is fairly structured. So I typically will have weekly goals that I establish, I have daily goals, I have monthly goals. I like to set the tone for my month with different affirmations and just different ways to just celebrate the way that I chose to expand expend my energy and the way that I'm choosing to expend my energy moving forward. And all of this is very celebratory because I'm excited, right? I'm excited about my plan for approaching the world around me, for the strategy I have around approaching the world around me. And I think that you remove the ardor, the pressure, the stress, the anxiety that having different goals and different things that you're working towards and things that you want to accomplish when you celebrate yourself in the process. It stops feeling like work and it starts feeling like just life, right? Like I'm putting my energy in these places that are meaningful to me, that really hold a lot of fulfillment for me. And rather than allow myself to be stressed and to be worn out and to be feeling haggard from just the momentum that's being built, I'm celebrating every little thing. I'm being present. And I think that the one thing that we don't recognize celebration does is it gives us an opportunity to be present, to recognize, hey, like I value the effort that I put in place. Like high five to myself. I did something here. I've made progress here. I've made incremental steps forward here. I am building the life of my dreams. Yes, I'm not just going to push and like bleed, sweat, and cry for the goals that I have and not also take the opportunity to celebrate myself. And I think that it is an act of kindness because it shows my delta. Like if I go inward, like, hey, like thank you physical body for helping me push through these different challenges and keeping me healthy. Like thank you to like my emotional, mental well-being, all of the areas that are put under stress and ardor to accomplish the things that I'm moving towards. So I think that it's important to have recognition for yourself, to feel grateful for the fact that I have the health, I have the concentration, I have the attention, I have the time to focus on the things that mean a lot to me. And I think that is worthy of celebrating. And I think that if we look at it through a lens of celebration, then we're not going to exhaust ourselves. We're going to do what it is that we can do with the time that we have available and then keep pushing the needle forward, celebrating ourselves in the process. We're not going to lose sight of the value and the beauty in the journey in and of itself. So that was what I wanted to share today. And I also wanted to reiterate to you in this segment that for every video that we put out, we also always provide resources, or at least 3 links to different blogs, different articles that I found really complemented the conversation that I'm having today. For those of you who want to do a deeper dive, go into a rabbit hole to see different ways and different points of view that will help you integrate these tendencies, these behaviors, these ways of being into your daily life. So definitely want to put that on your radar. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to join in. Now, these events are paid events. So if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans that give you unlimited access to our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops over and above those live events, largely focused on self-mastery as we focus on cultivating a skill-based approach to deriving more meaning and fulfillment out of life. So that's pretty much it. We're very excited about having that available to you. And for those of you who are concerned about paying for the products and services that we're offering to the market, please don't be. We have just incorporated a new payment solution, Afterpay, that gives you the opportunity to make payments in 4 installments over a period of 6 weeks. So we're very excited about the growth and evolution of our game changer community. If you're still here, be sure to subscribe, follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're pushing for the 1K subscribership on each specific platform. So that's the big goal for us today. And every follow counts. So we appreciate all of you and we look forward to chatting with you very soon. We'll talk to you later.